So I got some movies here I watched. I guess let's dive into these ones. Let's start with this one, Turner and Hooch, which is a Tom Hanks dog movie. I've seen this before, but I bought it on DVD because it was going out of print, and there is no Blu-ray for this. And I watched it again just because I bought it, and I do like this movie. And I gotta say, I forgot how much I like this movie. It's a fun movie. Like, it's not a good movie. It's a very generic movie. It's a typical like dog movie where the dog and the person don't get along, and then they eventually start getting along and all that. It's very generic. It's very like whatever. It's like you've seen this movie like a bazillion times, but it is a fun movie. Tom Hanks really does give it his all in this movie, and he's having fun. Like, I feel like of this era of Tom Hanks movies, it always felt like Tom Hanks was having fun. Like, I wouldn't watch Big and go, "That's such a great movie," right? But it is fun watching that movie because it's just like Tom Hanks is having fun. That's what's fun about it, and I feel like I feel the same about this. And this one is a lot more fun than I remember, and it made me kind of go, you know what? I should rewatch this movie more, and I'm glad that I bought it. So I watched Tom and Jerry again because again I bought it. Here's the thing about me: I do watch every movie I buy. Sometimes though, for bad reasons, but a lot of it is just like I bought the movie, so I feel like I should watch it. And sometimes I buy movies just because I have a collection, and this is part of that collection. Like, I want to own every Tom and Jerry movie, so even though this is a bad movie and I'll probably never watch it again, I buy it. But I at least say, well, I bought it, I should watch it once. So I did. And it was worse than I remember, if not slightly better, because I don't know, this movie's really bad. You can imagine why. It's your typical, live action cartoon hybrid movie. I mean, I love this cover, right? Because you see Jerry and Tom on the front, as if that's what the movie is, but it isn't that. Like, it's just a lie, and it's just worthless, this movie. Never watch it. Just don't. Don't waste your time. Then I bought these to watch Long Halloween Part 1 and 2. And, of course, this is based on the famous graphic novel, which is a great novel, Batman Long Halloween. If you've never read that story, fantastic Batman story, but this is the animated film part. And I will say, these were great. I think part 1 is better. But I think part 1 is better just because the first part is the detective angle. And then the second part, we start getting into the Scarecrow and other things. And they're good. I would say these tie into each other better than the Death of Superman and the Reign of Superman, right? That's kind of like another recent two-parter that DC did with these animated movies. And they just don't tie into each other very well, but these did a great job of tying into each other. And I think they work really well together, but I think part 1 is just a little bit stronger just because I enjoy that detective angle. Really, really well done. And I really enjoy where these stories go. Fantastic. So there's that. Then I watched Coming at Ya in 3D, which this is a 3D Blu-ray, but I just watched the standard edition because it does come with the 2D version. And to be honest, I don't have a 3D Blu-ray player. I think they're really gimmicky and worthless. Like, if you have one, cool, and you like it, cool, but I don't see the point in them. And this was just like, it was okay. It was a very cheesy, like, lame Western movie. It was very, like, you could tell a lot of this was fake and not very good. And it was, like, made to look impressive in, like, 3D, but it's not in 3D, it's in 2D. And, like, that's a problem with a lot of older 3D movies. That's why it's so gimmicky, is because once you get to the point where the movie can no longer be viewed in 3D, like, which is after it leaves the theater, it looks fake. It doesn't look good, it just looks weird and gimmicky, and that's kind of what this movie is, right? Because I'm sure movies like Avatar and other things like that look really amazing in the 3D format in a theater, but then after that, what are they? Nothing. So, and I feel the same about this. So, it was a generic Western movie that was not very good and was very gimmicky. So that's the way I feel about that. Then I watched this movie, Prisoners of the Ghostland. Now this is the 4K steelbook, um, and yeah, I was really excited to watch this movie because from the concept, from the trailers, and from what I've heard from some people, it looked really good. Basically, the concept of this movie is Nicolas Cage is a bank robber. He gets all these things strapped to him, and he has to fight all these ghosts. Otherwise, the thing strapped to him will explode him and kill him. That's kind of the concept, and that seems really cool. The visuals in this movie and the world, they look really unique and different, and that's cool. The problem is I don't give a flying hoot about the story, and it's weird because this movie seems very self-aware of what it is, and it's like playing into that, having fun with it at times, but majority of the time this movie takes itself super seriously, goes on way too long, and is just like a boring kind of mess of this movie where I don't really understand what the point of it was. It was a solid performance from Nicolas Cage, I guess, but like even with him giving it at all, it still couldn't wasn't enough to get me invested in this movie. But if you like Nicolas Cage movies, I guess it's worth at least one watch because it's not one of his really bad movies. It's just one of his like weaker ones. Well, not weaker ones because I guess his weaker ones are his really bad movies. But you get what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. And this steelbook's really cool. Like look at the inside of that. You get the cover there in the back. It's a cool looking steelbook. If you want a good way to own it. It's $20 for the 4K steelbook, which is not bad. So I definitely recommend that. Then I watched Selma, which this is one I've seen a lot at like Big Lot stores, Dollar Generals and stuff. It was always like $5, and always $5 for this movie was too much because I didn't really know anything about it, and I didn't want to like waste $5, but I'm okay with wasting $3. Why not? And to be honest, I can see why I didn't really know too much about it. This is a very generic biopic about Martin Luther King. See, what I wanted out of this movie is something similar to Malcolm X, but with Martin Luther King, and it wasn't that. There just wasn't that. There just wasn't that like love and adoration for that. For this movie behind the camera, making this movie and like love for it. It's just a very generic biopic, which is kind of sad that I always have to use that word when we talk about biopics, like generic, because we're talking about real life people that are anything but generic, right? To get a movie made about you and your life story and the things that you created, whether that be music, films, books, or like, or just being an historical figure, right? To get a movie made about you, right? It means that you are anything but generic, but yet the movie's always so generic, and like 1,000 other movies I could watch, which is so weird when we're talking about people who are anything but that. We're talking about extraordinary people, and this is what they get. It's kind of like weird to me, but it wasn't horrible. It's just like a movie I'm just never gonna watch again because it's like that was fine. It existed, and I watched it, and I'll probably never watch it again. I'm not mad I watched it, but I'm also not like, was that the best use of my time? I don't know. And it's directed by Ava DuVernay, which she directed A Wrinkle in Time. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So then I watched this. It's a SpongeBob Christmas Blu-ray, which if you don't know what this Blu-ray is, it's just the It's just the stop motion Christmas special that they did one year. I need to get the Halloween one, which that one was on Blu-ray, but it's not. But this one is, and if you want this, is going out of print, and I think this could get rare because there aren't a lot of Blu-rays of these types of things out there, and they might get harder to find. So, but basically, this special is a fun little special. What's really great about this special is basically Tom Kenny wrote it. Tom Kenny, of course, is the voice of SpongeBob, and he wrote the special, and they animated in stop motion, and the stop motion animation is gorgeous. But he wrote the music, and he wrote the special. So, what's great about the special is like it has this plot of like Plankton doing something to make the Bikini Bottom get on the naughty list, and he tricks SpongeBob into it, but it all feels very in line with his character, and that's kind of like an issue that became later in SpongeBob where a lot of the characters don't act like the characters. It's an issue that happened in a lot of long-running shows like this. It happened in The Simpsons, happened in Family Guy, and it happened here too. And but what's really great about this movie, this special, it brings it back to its roots, and it's just another great SpongeBob Christmas special. I don't think it's the best one they did. If you're asking me what the best one and my favorite one that they did, I would say Christmas Who is the greatest SpongeBob Christmas special. It's the one that when I need something to get me in the Christmas spirit kind of mood, that is what I go back to. I do watch this every year, but just I feel like I watch it more out of obligation than just genuine want. But I don't ever like hate watching it. I always enjoy watching it. So happy I watched this again, and I got to watch it for the first time in high definition. So that's cool. So that's everything I watched, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.